Alright, I think we can get started now. So, if you hear my cat... Well, that's interesting. It just shuts up when it's at this volume. Or at least in my headphones. You could probably still hear the song. Let me just turn it down on OBS instead. But I guess it's going to be kind of a little bit loud. Also, just make sure... Just let me know if you can't hear my voice or anything, or if the music's too loud, or something like that. You know, it's been like a couple... Not a couple years, it's been like, what, like 5 or 6 years since I've ever done streaming. At least on Twitch, at least. Next time I'm thinking of doing it both platforms, YouTube and Twitch. But anyways, let's get to my screen. I'm not sure if anyone can read the text here. I try to make the bitrate as good as possible. Though I kept getting a warning that the bitrate was too high or something. Also, might be too loud on the microphone side. We'll figure this out. This will probably be more of a test stream. So, Luanti. The whole point of this whole thing is to do mod development or game development. So in case no one knows, you probably watch a couple of the mind test videos on this channel, where I did a sort of let's play of the game. That's since been gone. I think I have the world somewhere, but I just stopped playing on it. Right now, what I'm working on is my own sort of game. So these are just the things that I want to try to do, or like suggestions of just things to just do while on stream to kind of maybe motivate myself. I don't know. Just something to do for fun. So really, this game that I made is sort of lacking, you know, a survival aspect. So adding like items and crafting recipes. So initially, what I did is I already have the textures and everything set up. And then I worked on this game for a little bit. Then I kind of stopped, and I came back to it. Then I'm just like changing it a little bit. So that and I'm trying to make it my own sort of thing. So this is one of the things I did. I changed the player model. I added this crouching ability where you can sort of crouch under one block spaces. I can actually show you how to do that. I added a steam mechanic too, which is really cool. So if I can go like this, I can go right under a block. And I tested in multiplayer. It does actually work on phones too, which is really nice. But I should probably do that in a separate world. Okay. Oh, or we could do it on the Steam test that I have here, where I actually tested out the functionality of the steam mechanic. Where I think this is the part, one of the places I tested this thing out. So I put lava here. Oh, I think I got rid of the block. Hold on. So do this. Put lava here. Oh. I injured myself because of the steam. And it turns back to water. Oh, that was actually pretty quick. That's something new. I didn't notice. I changed a couple of the settings on in the game, and I noticed the little fun animation on the hotbar. That's pretty cool. I didn't know they did that. So yeah, try to reiterate a little more. It's actually kind of fun too. In case you didn't see like the thumbnail of the stream, there's that was one of the tests I did that went completely wrong because I didn't limit how much because there's like 2 different types of nodes. There's the steam source node. This is the flowing node that tries to flow all the way up to the source, like that. Yeah, see, and then the source nodes are the ones that go up. And then to as a weird workaround, in order to get the water to sort of flow down on top of another water source, I had to make an extra node called like a condensation node that is essentially has the same texture as water, except its code is made to like sort of act as like falling water. Because when I tried to do the water node, then made it falling, I had this weird issue where I was losing water instead of gaining it. But this is implemented simply using like an ABM, active block modifier. Yeah, see, it does that. While the condensation uses a, I can actually show you. If I go to, the working name right now is legacy block, but that could obviously change in the future, so, oh yeah, it's in gas. So yeah, there's the steam source I was talking about, steam flowing, condensation. The on-construct callback does all the work of moving the node down and then hitting the ground and turning back into water. So that's what handles that. So I'm thinking we want to probably do particles for that. Particles for, you know, walking, for cooling down, so you can actually tell that the steam is cooling down. Water bubbles, because also there's no really health bar too. I kind of, that's the other thing I changed too. I made it so that your sort of health bar is this, you can probably see at the top of the screen, but hold on, I can make this full screen. Yeah, there we go. Where, yeah, you see the red the semi-transparent red pixels kind of approaching. That's kind of your health bar. I kind of want to figure out how to do how I'm gonna do healing, because initially, after I gutted the code that does the potions, I was thinking of doing like a health potion, have that sort of be the method of healing. I was also thinking of doing like regeneration. That would be pretty sweet. And that'd be interesting if any actually come up, any like suggestions on what I should add. Because right now it's kind of bare bones at the moment, or not really bare bones. I got it as in I just basically removed some of the code, moved it over to another, move it over to a temporary directory to hold it. Yeah, and I was thinking of having additional player models too to work with. Oh yeah, I also have a ghost model too. So if you basically die, you turn into a ghost. It's kind of hard to see, but it's easier to see when doing multiplayer. Way easier to see in multiplayer, so I might do that. I'll just have to open up 2 instances of the game. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. So, main goal, I want to try adding fire. So that will be what I'll be working on right now. Because we already got lava and magma too. Actually, I can show you the magma as well. This is more so a showcase than development so far. So magma, which you can't actually place in the surface except for like one interesting... Oh, I'll explain it later. So if you place it, it instantly... Wait, why is it instantly cool to... Hold on, I think that's wrong. I might have gotten that wrong. Hold on, I thought I was supposed to instantly cool... Oh, I think the flowing node is supposed to turn into lava. I could maybe have changed the code to where it just, because I know I have magma cool down into obsidian by default. Besides just cool, I know the flowing part of the magma cools down to lava. At least that's the way I programmed it. There we go. Yeah. See, so this is one way to actually get magma to stay on the surface. And I do like this idea, but the instant you break this, yeah, it turns to obsidian. Or you can go about, I think, 100. Let me get a torch. And go to this UI, by the way, which I need to change anyways. It's kind of like, kind of need to refactor everything. Okay. So I need to go about 100 nodes down. Not about there. Hold on, can I turn no clip on? I think it's H. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Right about here. Turn no clip back off. Yeah, so about there, that's when you can place magma. And then you can cool down flowing magma to turn it to lava. And that steam's gonna cool back down and fall there. I think it just did, but it got deleted. It's some weird bugs here and there, but you know, that's kind of to be expected. But yeah, you can cool magma that way. But I think if you cool the magma source block, you turn it into... Yeah, you turn it to obsidian, but I want to turn to something else. So maybe I'll do that as well, as a sort of the goal of this entire thing. Let me just, hold on. Let me just die real quick so I can get back to spawn. There we go. Alright. You know what, let's leave this running. And open up, not that, terminal. And we'll do another thing right here. I think you can probably hear the vacuum in the background, but that's okay. Magma cooling. Node that magma cools to. So I might do that as well. But number one priority should be fire. So I need to figure out how to make fire. Let me change directory to nodes. I try to keep this as organized as I can too. So let's have fire in its own script. We'll put it, let's just say right here. Now I need to create the script, fire.lua. Okay, and then I want to use one of these, because I want to copy this over. Fire. Okay, core.register node. I think that's how it goes. I could check again. Building. Oh yeah, it's this then followed by the table. Yeah, you know, I'll just copy the glass and then we'll go from there. I know there's a different draw type, at least according to this thing. I've been using this as a reference to make the game I've been making. So let's do that. Okay, I think it's in... Well, I think I need to go to nodes first. That's the param types. I'm looking for the draw types. There we go, draw types. I don't know if the audio is too loud, but every single time I try to turn it down using my audio thing, it just makes it too loud. Hold on. I can just turn it down like this. There we go. But now it might be too quiet here, so let me turn it up on OBS a little bit. Again, if anyone happens to be watching this, let me know if the audio is too loud or if I'm too loud. It's totally okay if I am, and I'll fix it. There it is. This is what I'm talking about, the fire like. When above a flat surface appears as 6 textures, essential. So I also need to make a... That's the wrong button. Okay. I need to make a texture for that. So, which means I need to open up GIMP. Which is 3. There we go. That's the flint texture that we'll be using this stream. I need to make a flint object so I can start doing survival mode stuff. So what I've been thinking of doing for the progression is having a hole. But you need to pick up flint, and then you need to use that to make stone tools, and so on. So let's create a 16 by 16. It'll be static for now. It will be a static image of fire until I get some actual texturing done. These will be temporary textures. These will not reflect the the finished product, I guess. The finished game. This will just be... This will be some poor programmer art right here. Okay. Awesome. Okay, that looks good. Fire. Now move it over to the correct place. And move it over to this one. There we go. Now we have fire. Now I'll go over here. This isn't glass. This is fire. Fire. I think it's called fire-like. Yeah, fire-like. Fire-like. Nope, that's the texture name, fire. Param type light. And I need a, this isn't quite right for what fire is, the properties, but I'll keep that in for now since I just need to test it out. I need, I think, light, what, 13 maybe? Okay, let's just see how that works. It's number 4, there we go. I still need to exit and load. There we go. That's fire, right, guys? Yeah, that's fire. Do I have set time? No, I don't. Okay. Let me set time. I think it's time. Time 0. There we go. No light. Yet you have light. Let me look at the implementation for torch real quick. Oh, I think it's in lighting, yeah. Though technically, fire should be in lighting as well, but... Oh, it's called light source. That makes sense. Yeah, so that I got that wrong. Let's see if this works now. Yes, there we go. Though it looks a little weird. Oh, there we go. That looks better. That's fire. Texture's a little... It could use some work. But that's good for now. Now I need to figure out how to get this thing to, you know, act like fire. Which I don't know how to do. Oh yeah, I also probably don't want to make it pointable either. Pointable. False. I want to be buildable too. Which I think is this. But one way to check that is to look at any of the liquids. Buildable too, yeah, okay, I got that right. Pointable, diggable should be false. I'll just copy these and put that in. Walkable, pointable, diggable. That seems right. And what else? I need to also make sure that, well, I need to make these groups correct. This is obviously fire. You cannot dig it, so these are kind of useless. I could always look at the implementation that mind test does. But I just want to figure this out. Let's just figure this out ourselves, or myself. Being I'm probably the only one here, but that's okay. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to use one of these. I'm probably gonna have to use an ABM to fix. Oh wait, no, I think I know how to do this. We use a timer. An on timer. If I look at definition tables and go to node, no definition. There's a thing for timers somewhere. Oh yeah, I also need to make sure you can't pick it up. Oops. Yeah, there we go. On blast, on timer. Yeah, on timer. So let's copy this over. I could do that. Yep. So whenever we construct a fire node, we want to basically say, well, whenever we construct a fire node, what we basically want to do is we want to start the timer. And that timer, I think, will change depending on what fuel the fire was brought out from. I think that's how that's supposed to go. So I think I'll need on construct as well. I think it'll just be, hold on, it'll just be fun here to do on punch and then have it hurt the player, so. So that's for hurting the player. On construct. Right here. So on construct, we start the timer. Though granted, fire is not being placed on its own. And hold on, for creative purposes, we probably don't need this. And the thing that creates the fire has to start the timer itself. If that makes any sense. Just placed fire, or player placed fire, will just be infinite fire. And since I already had something that checks this group, I'm going to put heat in there. Steam checks for heat to make sure it can, if there's like a node that has this heat group, it will stay as steam, it will not condensate. It will not turn back to water. That's the way I implemented it. Buildable true. No, I already have nodes that can be technically fuel, so I can turn wood. I just need to add the groups in. But let's just test this out. Let's see how this looks. I know this is called steam test, but this is also, I guess, fire test. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to add too. I forgot to add the damage per second thing that all the other nodes have. Oh yeah, and you can't break it, but you can do this. Okay. Makes sense, you can't dig it. So I think, yeah, lava has this, so I can go to liquid real quick. Damage per second. Copy that over to fire. This is quite a bit of copy and pasting. It's not this excessive. I think it should be set to 2. So it does damage you to a certain degree. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. And later on, I think I'm gonna have a player buff, or not buff, debuff. Once I add like potions and stuff, to where literally touching fire will set you on fire. So that's something I need to do in the future. But this is bare bones. Okay. So we got that. Punching. Well, actually, it's not pointable, so this is useless. I forgot. Oops. So we have fire, but it is very, very basic. But we need ABMs to set that fire. So it's interactions. This is the ABMs for grass growing. This is for lava cooling, right here. This is what turns the water to steam. This is also what turns the flowing water into flowing steam that goes, eventually finds the source. This is what converts lava to stone, or flowing lava to stone, and source lava to obsidian. And then magma is sort of similar. I just have it to do here to say that, well, I don't really want to turn to obsidian. I want to turn to something better since, you know, it's magma. It's hotter. And then cooling down the flowing magma turns it to lava, which makes it an infinite source of lava. And once we have buckets, magma is unobtainable through buckets. You cannot pick up magma through buckets. Water is also not an infinite source as well, so. This is the ABM that handles steam floating steam. So there's one that helps it cool down earlier, so if it's touching a condensation node, it'll just drop. Otherwise, we just move it down. Steam cooling, this handles the cooling. Oh no, that moves up, sorry. But here, this handles the cooling, so if there's a heat source nearby, then we don't do anything. We don't cool. Otherwise, if there isn't, then we can condensate. Steam flowing, this is self-explanatory. It just does the whole thing where it just like... This is essentially just allowing for the steam flow to move up towards the next node. And this has a limit too, so after 8, it's essentially done. And it destroys itself. After 8 flowing nodes. And yeah, this is where the old code used to live for the condensation, which is now being handled in what I showed previously. Okay, so I have to go to the bottom here. That's not the bottom, but I kind of need to copy this anyways. Okay, now let's go to the bottom. Okay, this is not grass growing. This is fire. What should I call this? Fire starting. And what node should it cover? Anything with the group of... Well, anything with the group of, what, fire or... Oh, this is fire spreading, I think. But you know, there's like not really any real fire. Or we need to figure out how to start fires. And I know the perfect thing to add for that sort of deal. And that's gonna be the flint and steel. Or I guess the fire starter, I'm gonna call it. Which is just gonna be a flint followed by like some rock of some kind. And just, that's how you can start fires initially, is then flint and steel would be like the best fire starter. Chance. I just also realized a mistake. Well, let me go fix that. I guess this is not really a mistake. This is just something that, in case I rename the mod. There you go, fire spread. So our neighbors should be a group. Flammable. Is it flammable or flammable? Flammable. This is something to look up. Hold on, let me pull up a web browser. Oh, 2 M's. Okay, that makes sense. Flammable. Accident push caps locked. Okay. So, what will happen is, I guess, we'll place a node, a fire node. Oh, let me turn the fan on. You might hear it. This is a bit warm in my room. Okay. So this is fire spreading. So what I think I need to do is I need to find the, because this is obviously for any fire nodes. So what I have to do is at a fire node we check our radius, we try to find any flammable nodes. If there's any flammable nodes, we set that node on fire. And that fire will go on for a certain amount of time, then it'll cool off. I was thinking of using param2 for indicating whether or not this is natural fire or this is placed fire. So let me see if there's like any other uses that I could use for param1 or param2. Not param1's used for light. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Param types. Param2, flowing liquid, wall mounted. It's not wall mounted. Face direction, for direction. Leveled. We're not doing levels. We're not doing mesh options since it's already set as like a fire type. Color. It would be interesting to have colored fire. I don't know if I really want to do that though. I was thinking of having multicolored like wool though, rather than just having a set number of wool colors. Color but with 4 directions. Colored face direction. Colored wall mounted. Glass like liquid level. Yeah, I'll set it to none, and then I'll use it to indicate this if this is natural fire or if this is like placed fire. So I need to go back to fire. Oops, hold on. There we go. Param2. Indicates player placed infinite fire. If it's 0, then we'll actually have a ABM that handles the fire cooling, because it'll kind of be like a random chance instead of using the timer. The timer would be pretty useful. Indicate, actually param2 could probably indicate how much the fire should burn. Indicate how much the fire should burn. -1, which I believe this uses a certain integer. I forgot what integer this param type uses. Or param type 2 uses. Because I know it's like a certain sized integer. So there's probably limits on how big you can make it. Or 8-bit integers. Okay. So, -1, which is all the bits are enabled, will indicate this is an infant fire. Simple. Anything after the -1 is just, you know, just any, well, I guess this will be unsigned at this point, so if 255 will indicate this is an infinite fire, anything below that will indicate, yeah, this is a fire that will burn, and that will, every single time the AVM goes up to this fire, it'll decrease that param2 number. And it'll keep doing that till it reaches 0. Once it reaches 0, then we'll say, okay, the fire is burnt out. So that's how we'll be doing that. Cool. So instead of doing 250, okay, do 255. Indicate how much the fire should burn. So by default, param2 should be set to 255, indicating that this will be an infinite fire. Okay. Interactions. So instead of doing fire spread first, let's do, I just want to label this too as fire. This is fire cooling. This doesn't involve any neighbors. This has a chance, an interval of 5 seconds. Let's just put it at that. So we go to the position. We need to grab the, well, we already have the node. We can just, let's do a core debug, dump node, and let's see what that prints out. And we'll see about that. Okay, it doesn't print anything out because there's no fire node. Okay, there we go. Yeah, param type 2. Why is that set to 0? Param 2. I placed it. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. I just realized that's not an existing value inside of a definition. It's actually called place param 2. I think. Let me fix that. Yes, I got that right. Okay. So once we see that, we know for a fact that the we know for a fact that it is in, if it's 255, we know for a fact that it will infinitely burn, so we ignore it. If it's 0, then we get rid of it. We delete the node. Pfft, gone. And we probably want to do a callback of dig node, or some kind of callback to well, we don't want to do like remove nodes. We want to do like something like, I guess we do remove node and do the particles here. So I was thinking maybe we want to do the particles in one of the callbacks of the node definition. So we could do this. If param2 equal 255, then we return. We do that one line too. I know there's a simple way to do this in Vim. There we go. I need to learn more of my Vim key bindings. If param2 is equal to 0, then we know for a fact we need to remove the node. Core remove node at position. Otherwise, we know it is neither of those options. core.swap node. I think that's a real callback. Position. Local new node equals node. Hold on, can't I just do node dot? I think I've done this before with the steam flowing. So to do this, param2, we set it equal to param2 minus 1, which makes sense. And then we swap it with our new node. Or not really new, it's basically the same node, but we changed the param2 type. And I want to do a core. I want to do a core debug. Just to test it out. And to really test this out, this will not be an infinite fire. This will be like a fire that lasts like 5, not really steps, like 5 of those calls, eventual calls to our ABM. So let's do that test. Let's do this mine test. Well, let's die for a bit so that I can, so I don't have, I have a better looking screen. Oh, let's speed up the process. Directions. Fire cooling chance. Let's have it always be the chance. Every 5. So let's have no surprises here. There you go, 5. That's initially what it's set to. It should go to 4 next. Yep, okay. 3. 2. 1, then after 1 it should disappear. There we go. Yes, it works. Awesome. Alright, this time I probably want to have like a half chance every, what, 2 seconds? Every 2 seconds, there's like a 0.5% chance that it'll just count this down. Let's go to fire real quick and set this back to infinite burning. So when we replace a node, gotta make sure we set it to, when we do fire spread, we want to set it to the correct number that indicates how long this should burn, which makes sense for that. So let's go back to our, we're not going back, we're going to some of our previously established nodes. I guess it'll be a fun, little interesting thing too, to have like an ABM to where it just like the grass unspreads, as in like it turns back to dirt if you're like close enough to magma or lava or fire. So have fire basically like burn the grass. Or we're gonna have it turn into like a specific grass texture that's just like burnt grass. That would be interesting. Okay, so far the only current nodes being used right now for terrain generation is oak and birch. I have not really implemented the rest of the stuff yet, but it will eventually. So flammable, let's just say it's flammable for 3, and we'll use that group number to indicate how much this fire should burn. So all these logs and wood will probably burn for that much. So I could probably change the number depending on if I want some to burn less than others. Like for example, maybe have swamp burn less because maybe it's like moisture. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, and then the wood is basically just the same sort of deal, but the only difference between the wood and the logs is that the wood is just all faces are just the log side, whereas log has, you know, the side, then you can see the stem. And the same deal here with swamp wood. We make it less because we can assume, well, it's moist. It's moist. Leaves will burn for a shorter amount of time. Let's just say 1. It's 1 flammable. Oh, that's interesting. I already had that set here. I forgot to remove that. Well, I can remove it now. But yeah, they all have a flammability of 1. Because leaves don't burn for that long. Which makes sense. Same for apple leaves. Just no leaves even burn. Yeah. Oh yeah, I already have that flower set to flammable. Flammable 1, flammable 1, flammable 1. Just have all the plant matter burn. Okay, and then I think I have a utility node. No, it's not utility. I think it's in building. Coal, yeah, it's right here. Flammable, let's just say 5. This will probably change. Okay. No, that's not where I wanted to go. Interactions. So we got fire cooling. Now we need fire spreading. Chance is... Should I do it half chance? We'll do it the same way as fire cooling, so it's just as likely. For now, at least. I might change it. Obviously, all this is temporary. This is why this game isn't released yet, because I want to make sure everything works the way it does. So... whenever we have a group flammable, we wanna find where that flammable thing is. So I know there is a call for that. I just need to find it. Find nodes with meta. That's not what I'm looking for. Find node near. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Find node at position. Radius is 1. Node names, or just anything that... Well, I think this also has to be a table. Group. I think it's called... Yeah, oh no, it's group. Group. I got this wrong. It's not groups, it's group. Group. Flammable. And we do not search the center, so we leave this blank. Because the center will be the the fire. So if it's directly next, if our neighbor is directly next to a flammable, we find our flammable object. And this returns a position, so flammable pause. Okay, and then what's next is how do we deal with burning nodes? Do we just remove it, then we replace it with the flammable with a fire, or do we let it sit on top of the fire for a little bit? Then we decide when we want to, or have the fire go around the flammable object, and then we decide randomly whenever we want to destroy the object or destroy the node. I was thinking one of the ways we can do it is the node core way. So I could probably show you this world. Kind of a little inspiration from this game, a little bit at least. There's just some part of the game that I really don't like. How I'm trying to transport this pum water over, but it's been really difficult, as you can tell with all the stone everywhere. Actually, this is not technically stone, that's pum ice. As you'll see here. Yeah, pum ice. But this is the solid version of pum water. I don't know, I'm just playing a game now, I'm not doing any development, but this is just to show this whole thing. So what it does is it turns to these ash blocks, which is just kind of annoying because the inventory management in this game is different. Where essentially you place something flammable, it sets it on fire, it turns it into a new node called Burning Embers. So I don't know if we want to do something like that, or if we want to do just destroy the node. Just destroy the node entirely and replace it with fire. That's kind of the thing I'm thinking about. Which I actually don't know how many people are watching. Well, I don't really want to pull that up, then I'll pull up the... It'll kind of look weird. Participants... Well, that's just me. Okay. Well, wait. That doesn't mean it's over, it just means I have to open this up. 0 concurrent viewers, yeah, so just as I suspected. Okay. Let me switch over tabs real quick. Okay, now I can switch back to the screen. Okay. So again, I think the easiest way to go about with this would to have it so that it is a it turns into it destroys the node. Essentially, so core remove node. Flammable position. But we also need the definition of the node, so we get the node by doing this. Core.get node flammable pause. We know it has a flammable, so registered nodes. We put in Yeah, okay, I think that's how you do it. Yeah, so we remove it, but at the same time we set node at the flammable position. We set it to since this is still LB nodes, yeah. We set it equal to fire. We set up param2 equal to flammable def dot group. I think it's called group, right? Could be wrong. Building groups. Okay, it's called groups. Groups dot flammable. So we set it based off of the flammable number. If that makes sense. This makes sense, right? This looks. You can easily figure that out. Okay. So steam test turned more into fire test. Let me just clear up my inventory real quick. Let's get something that doesn't burn for very long. Mahogany leaves. Yes, so set the fire. Do this. Crash. Attempt to call. Find node near. Okay, what did I do wrong? Core to fire. Did I type it in? I think I typed it in wrong. Yeah, I did. Okay, so it's core dot. Yeah, that's a mistake. I meant to do that. So we should see it be replaced here soon. Oh, or crash. For 245. Where is that located? Right here. Well, where exactly, specifically? 450. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And you put name. We're just ironing out all the issues. Okay, I did at least remove it. That's good. There we go. And we should see it disappear really soon. That's one way to handle fire. Maybe not the best way to handle fire, but... But I also want to do something interesting instead of having like a furnace like, the old Minecraft games. Oh. Okay, that's good. I can at least fly up, though. I wanted to handle furnacing by using like actual the actual environment, much like how Node Core does it. So yeah, we got fire spreading. That's pretty cool. Now my curiosity. Call it forced test. This is not a forest. Okay, let's try again. Forest. Hoping I spawn a oh, perfect. Yeah, okay. Let's see how far these can spread. So I get a fire node. Set it up like that. It should replace that. Then it should go up like that. It should spread like crazy. Maybe I need to make it more likely. I need to make it more likely to happen. 1% chance every second. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is chaotic. I forgot I need to fly. There we go. This does in fact burn the whole thing down. Though maybe it goes to a certain point, maybe about here, because then it won't be able to reach there. That's fire. Oh, let me take a screenshot. But the way it was put is probably not that good. Because I mean, I guess if you think about it too, like maybe it should like spread in the other way, like I was saying. With, you know, the whole using one node to indicate that something's burning. Like maybe we'll have a maybe just like node core, we'll have like a burning embers node that you can't really obtain in creative, and then have it so that it does that, maybe? Because that kind of looks weird. It kind of looks strange, not gonna lie. Doing this, then having it all set on fire kind of looks really strange. Like that? Yeah, that kind of, it does look really bizarre. So maybe we want to have fire wrapped around. But how do we destroy the thing that we're setting on fire? That is my question. Maybe have a random chance of just having it set on fire? If there's enough... So this is out of the table doing this. Though we're not done yet, because what we can do is we can find air nodes that are around the flammable thing. So we can still do it. Okay, this, because we need air in order for fire to function, right? So yeah, we do air here. We get rid of this. Oops. We set air position. Though we want to avoid burning infinitely. So one way to do this is if there's fire around a flammable. This is fire spread. So I think this is pretty similar to how Minecraft does it. Fire, burn. This is for flammable. This is around fire. Or let's just say this is also if it's around. Oh, hold on. I can do this with any of the nodes, like lava or magma, on any flammable object. So if I have a lava node nearby, it'll try to start a fire around around the flammable objects, so like trees or coal. But this ABM here is, this one right here is more specific towards burning, and I'll give it like a half chance that, you know, it'll just burn. So we know there's a there's one of these things nearby, the flammable object. But we do want to take the flammable node. Well, we actually already know we don't need the node of the flammable. Excuse me. And we're back. Hello to all the 0 viewers. Or anyone, I guess, tuning in afterwards. Really appreciate it. So, flammable definition, I can take that by doing no.name like that. We don't need any air position. Get rid of this because well, I guess I'm going to do the same thing anyways. I'm going to replace it with fire of the same amount. Actually, yeah, just copy it over here like this. We'll set no to fire. We're not even bother destroying it because it'll just be replaced with fire, followed by the flammable amount. So this will be our indication that it burns. This will be all burning. This will be burning our flammable object, our flammable node. You'll not get anything out of this. You're not getting ash because I don't know. That whole mechanic was kind of, well, maybe not annoying. You did get something back out of it. The whole mechanic I'm talking about was like the node core. But this makes sense. I think that might work. Only one way to find out. Okay. Instead of using the infinite burning fire, let's use lava. Let's just place it like right here and have it burn. Oh. Expected table got nil. 445. No, 245. I'm I think it has something to do with something being nil right here. Maybe this doesn't exist. I think that's it, yeah. It's trying to access this, but this is nil, so this doesn't mean anything. So to counteract that, if there's no flammable node near, and the node doesn't really work, I guess. And one thing we can do is we can create a fake table that has a groups thing with flammable equal 0. So just a fire that's going to immediately going to go out. Okay. That's just a workaround. A really stupid workaround. But it's... I think this has something to do with how I put this together. This is... Okay, this is a, compiling error, or not a compiling error, it's interpreted. This is a syntax error. Yeah, I know it's right here. Dot groups, flammable. I thought this would work. Oh, maybe because groups doesn't exist. Okay. Will something like that work? Let's find out. Oh. Invalid vector, expected table, got nil. I got in the same place. Oh, you know, I think it is. It has nothing to do with this. Because this is fine. This has something to do with the position. Maybe the position doesn't exist. Okay, fair enough. If error position, if there's no error position, that's the thing I think I forgot to check. If it's nil. No, if it's not nil. Sorry, that's wrong. Then we know we can place a fire. We can place fire. But if we can't, just don't do anything. That makes a lot more sense. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh no, the infinite fire, it's growing. Oh no. What have I done? Actually, it's not infinite, is it? No. It's just, wow, that looks horrible. That is from one lava node, by the way, which doesn't seem like that should... It should be like that. Whoa, forest fires are no joke. I think it's just gonna burn this entire forest. Like, jeez. This tree seems fine. This is the only tree that survives here. Everything just gets... Oh, this one survives too because of how far it went. Oh, wow, look at that. It's just eating up this forest. Which I think is a little bit excessive, maybe. It seems a little excessive. Okay, but it does place it if there's an air position nearby. But I think the thing is, I don't even know how I even managed to get this to look like that in the first place, so one way to test this would be to get a coal block, start a fire here. Oh, yeah, I think I figured it out. It has something to do with the fact that the range thing is kind of weird. It does all four sides. I think that's... Okay, let me look at it again. So it burns that, but then creates this whole mess, which burns the same amount as coal. Alright. I don't know why it expands like that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It expands up like that, like that. But its neighbor is not the flammable object. I don't know why it spreads up like this. Oh, because, yeah, that, doing this is technically... Well, that would be technically one node up. Or that would technically be a radius of 1. So fire spreading is crazy. So maybe the neighbors I check are pretty small. cookie. So okay, so fire spread. We want to set it on the air node. So let's just say it's what right next to it. So if the neighbor's thing is correct, I think this is technically a neighbor. Oh, diagonal works like... Diagonal makes more sense. That's interesting. Right, but if you don't do it diagonally, it does some weird stuff. Tries to go up, even though like that's not really making any sense. Oh, I think I know what's going on. It's trying to find a air node. It usually looks for in the up position. So the way it's coded is that it searches the top first, then it goes to the sides, then the bottom. Oh, and I'm not doing it at the flammable node position. I'm doing it at the position where the fire exists. Oh, that makes so much sense now. Yeah. So if I want it near the flammable node, I do that. Yeah, okay. I think I found the bug. Let me just clear this up real quick. Yeah, I forgot to make it floodable. Did I make it floodable? I think that's how you do it. Let me go to floodable. Yeah, okay. Go back here. Close this up. So I can fill it with water. Or place it in, I guess I could technically place it in water, just not gonna, it's gonna flood, yeah. Okay, now let's place a coal block here, and this should, oh, it immediately got rid of it. Okay, that's not what I meant. I guess that's a way to, I don't know why I'm trying to say in like a southern accent. That was weird for... Okay, that seems a little more reasonable. Even though that looks a little bit excessive, but that's because of the radius thing. The radius is 1 by 1, so let's try the burning forest test again. Assuming we get a forest. This is not a forest. Burning forest test. Give me a okay. Maybe I can find a forest. I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna load another one. Forest. This is, oh wait, close to a forest. That's good enough. Instead of using the burning, infinite burning fire, I'm just gonna use lava. Let's see how far it spreads. Place it here. I don't know if I really like how the fire just tends to just, you know, stick in the air. But, you know, that looks good. It's just, you know, it's a bit too fast. Yeah, I think fire spreads a little too fast. And fire burning is way too common. Okay, let's test this out again. Man, you're gonna hate fire in this game. It's incredibly crazy. It's way too crazy. You can start fires really quick. Well, with lava at least, in the creative infinite fire. Maybe there should be an option somewhere to disable it. Disable fire spread. I know that there probably should be. I think that will do for what fire is supposed to act, right? This seems perfectly reasonable, even for how destructive it is. It's very destructive. Maybe we should give a chance for some of the nodes to keep burning, maybe? Because maybe the trees are burning way too quick. It seems kind of weird though that how the fire is arranged in a way that's like encapsulates the entire node, but it's the easiest I've seen to do it. Besides, I guess doing only the the 6 sides of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, all 6 neighbors instead of like the other 8 neighbors. But I should probably reduce the chance that it destroys the node. Fire spread should probably be pretty low chance too. There we go. I think that would have been, yeah. That should start burning the tree here soon. Yep, there it is. Look at that. That looks a little bit better. With reducing the chances and the interval, it's works a little bit better. Or it looks a little bit, it's a little less crazy. think probably still burns the same way though. It's just like there's... Yeah, I think it just burns the same exact way. It's just... It's a little slower. Like you have a chance to put it out. I was thinking of doing if the node isn't attached to like any other block besides just, well, if there's fire attached to fire, maybe it dissipates or something. And actually I'm quite happy with this setup. So fire is done. Not cooking though, cooking is still... Cooking we'll do pretty much later on. Let's make the node that magma cooks to, or not cools to, not cooks. Right here, okay. I should pull up the magma texture too. Now I was thinking the redstone equivalent of this game would be using heat as a power source. So one idea of, I call it Magvolite. I think that's what I named it anyways. But it'll be probably something close to looking like magma, but except it transfers heat. You use it with like ceramic or some kind of insulator to use as a battery. So something like bricks, you surround it with bricks, or you mold it with bricks to make a battery, and maybe you mold it with metals to make a conductor, so it takes in heat or it dissipates heat. It's not quite magma, but it's like, maybe it's cool enough to pick up. Water is also not renewable in this game. I'm going to eventually add a way to make it renewable. Essentially, I think there'll just be a node at the bottom of the ocean that adds water, or if I add weather will essentially just turn the any like flowing nodes that it sees on the ground and turns them into source nodes. I'm gonna change the color a little bit so it's not... Is that a good looking color for this so-called redstone equivalent? It should drop like dust too. Magvolite? I think that's what I called it. I could look into it real quick, I have it somewhere. I took a, wrote down on a whiteboard, took a picture of it. I just gotta find it. Yeah, I call it Magvolite. And what do I have on my notes? Yeah, mold with steel to make an absorber or releaser, basically a conductor. And is the music done? It sounds like it is. Oh no, it's just doing this whole thing. Because there's only... that's so stupid, YouTube. Just let me listen to my music. Anyways. But you use it with ceramic to make battery, heat battery essentially. Initially had lava cools to igneous, magma cools to lava. Instantly if surface. There are nodes that expel magma as there are nodes that expel water. So you can have an infinite source of it. But yeah, essentially using heat as a power source. And I think having it this color kind of encompasses that sort of idea. I want to make it a little bit messy. Change the colors maybe a little bit more, add more. It's kind of like an orange variant of obsidian. I forgot to have this whole thing. That's just, I guess that's the new way of like how GIMP is doing layers. Or no, how they're doing effects. Of course, like I said, all textures on the stream will be just works in progress. They will not, they may or may not be stay. And I want to kind of make this game feel more like, you know, there's a lot more programmer art. I'm not trying to make this look like professional or anything. I do like that look. It makes it look more like orange gravel. But it's like a stone, so okay. Magvolite. I guess we'll call it nature. It's a nature block. Though technically really isn't. Well, I guess you can obtain it naturally if water happens to hit magma or magma source. Magvolite. Much like obsidian, it takes a level 2. So it's quite a harsh stone to destroy. But actually, that should be like slightly easier, but you still need like a level 2 pickaxe in order to destroy it. And that'll be stone. You can probably process it into like dust maybe. Maybe that's how I'll go about with this whole thing. Interactions, magma, cooling. Okay, now I can remove this to do. So that's your way of obtaining magvolite. Also, I think it should also naturally spawn into the world. I need to move it in here. Oops, not what I meant to do. Okay. So magma instantly cools to magvolite. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is a really cool texture. I might keep that. Wow. Yeah, magvolite. We want a power equivalent to indicate. It'll probably be like an overlay to indicate that it's charged. Or I guess you can use the magvolite dust, convert it into like something that's useful, because that's probably just like the stone itself. That's what we have so far, magvolite. Because it should also be used as a cool building material. Speaking of which, I don't think I have this on here, but I do want to do more building materials. Oh, hold on, I did that wrong. There we go. So actually, I already have this done now. Put a hold item. Add more biomes. I need to add more biomes, definitely. I need to add leaf decay because there is no leaf decay in this game. I need to figure out a way to drop the floodable nodes when they flood. I can animate the that's one of the things I could do too. I can animate the liquids and gases. 12. More building blocks. I did technically already make a building block. Magvolite. It's really the coolest looking texture I made so far. That and well, obsidian looks pretty cool too. It shows I'm improving as a pixel artist. Though I guess it still technically is programmer art. I would consider it still programmer art. Cause gravel, man, gravel looks. It looks like it's ugly equivalent. Or the ugly equivalent in like older Minecraft days. Anyways. What I should be focusing on now, I should probably stop focusing on adding more building blocks because that's not really what I need. I need to make more crafting recipes and items so that I actually implement a survival mode to work with. I plan to have this stream up for maybe about 2 or 3 hours. I don't want to go that far with the 3 hours. So I felt we already accomplished quite a bit. Hold on, I want to change my... I don't like how the desk doesn't display the presets, or it's kind of hard to display the preset. No, what I'm saying is that it's dark in my room. It's kind of hard to see the presets I have for my desk, my standing desk. So now I'm in a more comfortable sitting position. Okay. More importantly, yeah, I want to do crafting recipes, but I don't know what to do specifically for crafting recipes. So close this out. We move to items. We need to clean this up. That's kind of important right now. So there's things in here that don't exist yet. First off, let's re-add the stick. I don't really want to put this all in inits or the init script, so let's just do this. Mod directory equals core dot get. Oh, hold on, mod name equals core dot get current mod name modder core dot get mod path. Do file. Okay, I need to categorize each thing. Right now I can't really do that right now. Well, I guess I kinda can, it's just I don't really know how to yet. Okay, so we got our stick. What other items exist here? Wooden sword. I got rid of the wooden tools, so forget about all those. Or I got rid of all the wooden tools in the... I'll get rid of all their textures. We have stone tools. I'll add those probably in a minute. So stick, and I need flint. So the first do file would probably have to involve doing a overwriting our definitions a little bit. So that would be overrides. But then I also have to change the conf. Or no, I'll call it drops, because this will involve like what things will drop what. So leaves will sometimes drop sticks. Flint will always be dropped from gravel occasionally. So we'll override gravel and all the leaves to include sticks. If that makes any sense. So drop stop Lua. We want to copy these over. Here we go. I'm probably not going to use the translator thing, but yeah, okay. Now, how do I override? I know there's a way to do it. Override item, yeah, okay. Override item, LB nodes, gravel. We won't worry about deleting anything, so we'll just do this. Drop. And drop has a weird sort of definition inside of it. If you want to do like chances and things like that. One other survival mechanic I'm thinking adding is panning. As in, it's the whole process of mining. It's surface mining, or it's like mining by basically going to a lake, going to like gravel or loose sand, and just trying to get minerals out of it. So I'm thinking of adding that to this game. So let me look at the definition for drops. No definition. That's also another thing I need to add soon. Not soon, but eventually I need to add sounds. I need to figure out where to find sounds. Okay, so this is if you want it to drop one thing. Alright, here it is, drop. This is the definition if you want to do multiple things with how it'd be dependent on group. Okay. So I need to do max items. Only one max item. and then it is items, and then a whole table of stuff. It's a whole table of tables. So another table here. Rarity. We'll start with the one thing that is guaranteed. I'm messing this up. Okay. Nodes on gravel. You're supposed to start with the rarest one first, or the one that's the lowest. So fourth chance to obtain Flint. Mod name Flint. Otherwise, you're always guaranteed either get flint or gravel. Okay. Well, initially I'm going to go to creative so I can obtain some gravel because I don't think... Oh, there's some around. Okay. That's good. Oh yeah, by the way, you can pick stuff up through touching. It's not just like it's not all the default behavior. No, it's actually not the default behavior because you don't pick it up immediately. Oh, good thing I testing it out. Items. Oh, did I get that? I got that wrong, didn't I? It's items, items. Okay. This is just really weird. There we go. Gravel. Flint. There we go. Flint again. It's a really poor texture of flint, but yeah, eventually I'll get that sorted. Get looking a little bit better. It's a little too common, maybe. Yeah, a little too common. Yeah, I can change that. An 8th chance. Okay, that's a little bit better. The chance drops are a little bit better. Not better as in more, it's just better as in like it makes more sense. I'm curious how to make the game use the default sort of like rotating model in the hotbar because I think that looks really cool. You get to see all sides of it. Now I just need to figure out how to make... Well, I guess you can still technically mine stone. Now I need to figure out how to obtain stone. When looking into flint, or I basically just looked up what flint is, and it's essentially just a quartz rock that was used to make primitive stone tools. Basically, it was used to make stone tools. So I was thinking you can use it to make flint tools to then make stone tools. And so you obtain stone, you don't obtain cobblestone. I don't know if I want to keep that or if I want to do actual, like, cobblestone. You obtain cobblestone. Okay, so we got gravel, we got our flint. I just need to know what to do with it. Oh, I guess the other thing I need to add for drops is I need to have sticks. Something by default you should not be able to just punch down a tree. Though technically you can right now. It's just you shouldn't be able to punch down a tree or stone. Don't want to balance it between you know, survival mechanics and just, you know, funness, I guess. I would have suggestions, but you know, I don't really have a chat, so I mean, I do have a chat, it's just like there's no real lively chat right now, so that's cool. It's just, you know, one other item that exists that I have in the game here is string. So I have string in here too. I don't know what I'll use string for, but I'll just put it in here with all the other items. I possibly want rocks too. You could like pick up rocks and then use those to do stuff. Cause I was thinking you can, So you obtain flint. You can use it to obtain stone. That's how you obtain rocks. So maybe if you use the flint, you mine the rocks, or mine the stone, you get cobblestone back. And that's how you obtain your first thing of cobblestone. Then you can use the cobblestone along with some string and some sticks to make stone tools. Maybe. This is just me thinking about this stuff. And of course, to get your first piece of metal in order to do stuff like fire starting, to then eventually start making proper metals, you can do the panning thing I talked about, the mechanic of just like getting a bowl, getting some water and then some gravel and then shaking it to get small amounts of materials, like shards of materials, if even diamonds too. You could probably get diamonds. You can get diamonds from that, but very small quantities of them, or not even like or just a fraction of a diamond. So if you don't really want to mine, you can do that. But I was thinking the whole game design should be, you could do that whole tedious part of just, you know, pan mining all your minerals that you need, then eventually progressing further and going mining, or just exploring and finding underground dungeons that give you the loot to just get jump started on that. So like the loot should be like, oh yeah, you get a pickaxe, like a better pickaxe. Then like some dungeons go like, okay, yeah, here's how crafting, or not here's how crafting works. So we should use the default like crafting setup. It's just not it's just stutter. This whole crafting setup right here. I should use this whole similar grid system to do crafting. But maybe like the game should show you how to do smelting, like using the fire to smelt tool. Use it to smelt like fragments of metals or ores and turn them into actual usable material, then smelt it to smith your own metal tools and things like that. So that's kind of what I want to go for, like the approach of, you know, of node core as I showed before, with like, I guess the whole like in-world crafting. Though I do want to stick with some like crafting in your crafting grid, but your crapping grid. Yeah, your crapping grid. your crafty grid. You can do stuff there, but you can also do stuff outside of that, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of getting hungry and a little bit tired, so maybe I'll stop stream here. When we continue back, probably not next week. I'll probably just do this in the background, and the stream will be something else. I plan on having streaming same time on Saturday. So hope everyone enjoyed this, or anyone who was watching this afterwards. I know there wasn't really much liveliness in the chat besides me talking about what this playlist is that I'm playing. Still, I hope you have a good time, like, watching me sort of develop this whole thing. And if you want to see more like it, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to this channel. This is more like a second channel of just doing random stuff. My actual channel is Crimson Sane. I plan on uploading on that channel more. I haven't uploaded in like a year or so. But yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you. I don't see you. I don't see anyone here at all. But yeah.